Guys, welcome back to my channel. I know a long time you not see me, but I am back now and we're back with consistency. Yeah, cool. Happy Sunday, guys. Back again with another first time buyer series. In today's episode, we will be discussing some tips that can help you guys that are living overseas that want to buy a house in Jamaica. So all of these tips are based on my personal experience. I am in no way, shape or form qualified as a real estate agent or anything in that property world. I am literally just sharing with you guys some tips based on my personal circumstances. As you guys can see, we did I drink some Baileys over here. Good Sunday vibes. I've been drinking, day drinking. So, I'm on a little vibe now, yeah? If you are new here, thanks for joining me. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button. I do this series every single Sunday. Every Sunday, you're going to get a new video from me talking about something that has to do with real estate or money matters. I'm going to give you guys some tips based on my circumstance. And the first thing that we want to talk about is that... Oh, me again. Okay. So when you're buying a house in Jamaica, you know how in Jamaica we have the GP system that if you have any identification letter, if you have any identification documents, or if you're doing any application, sometimes you need a GP to sign and authorize that they know you and you are who you say to be. In the UK, we do have a similar service to that. So if you're buying a house in Jamaica and you are living overseas, and you're specifically based in the UK, you can get your documents signed at the Jamaican embassy. They have one of the cheapest rates. This is a top tip, guys. They have one of the cheapest rates. I believe it's about 20 to about 35 pounds per page, per signature that they do sign and stamp. And if you were to go to like central London or so, it's definitely going to rank up into at least 50 pounds per page. So yeah, definitely make use of the Jamaica service. It's called, I think when you go on the website, it's called the Notary service. Notary, however you pronounce the word. Notary. That word there. With that being said, you need to also make sure that you have a budget set aside to have your identification documents signed. For myself, I think at the end of it, by the time we finish signing everything, because it's a lot of back and forth, so by the time we finish signed and sent off everything probably came up to about 150 to about 200 pounds. So yeah, definitely budget to have your signature signed. That's one thing. The next tip. Okay, so we know that whenever we're buying a house, we're going to need our identification documents. When you're buying a house in Jamaica, you're also going to, as a Jamaican citizen or resident, you're also going to need your TRN, your NI number, and all of those stuff. If you're living overseas and you don't currently have these documents, if you're going to Jamaica to visit family or you're going on holiday, try to make sure that you sort out your documents while you're there. Try to use the time wisely. Most of the stuff you can start the application there, and hopefully by the end of your stay, a month stay or 2 week stay, there will have been some progress on your application. But we all know that Jamaica is a developing country, so it won't be as quick as the UK or developed countries. With that said, if it's that your application, if it's that your TRN, your NI number, if it's that it will be readily available after your trip or after you've left the island, be sure to write a letter, sign it, approve it, get it stamped by a JP, and authorize that either a real estate agent, obviously someone that you trust, that you've been in business with, right, a family friend, someone that you trust, to collect this document and send it to you before you leave the island. Just sign the documents, scan whatever form of identification document that you may have, so that when you leave the island, your family friend or your real estate agent can mail your documents to you. I'm really gonna stress on this because personally with me, when I did I think it was my TRN, I think my dad did it on my behalf. I was quite young. I think I was like 16 or 17, somewhere around them age there. He applied for the TRN application for me, and when we actually went to collect the documents, him applied for the TRN documents for me. However, when the documents was ready, he had already left the island, and they basically said that no one can collect it other than him unless he has a written document stating that he grants someone else permission to get it. So it was a real drawn out process because I don't know them strict on who can collect the document. I don't know if things change from then, but as I said, I'm just a share based on my personal experience. If you're living in the UK and it's not possible for you to travel to Jamaica to deal with your identification documents, then you can definitely get your TRN sorted at the Jamaica Embassy in Kensington. I'll put their details in the description box below, so make sure that you go and check it out. One of my friends actually did this process last year and it was very straightforward. I was with her throughout the whole process, and within 3 months or less, she actually got back the TRN number. So yeah, if you live overseas, you can get a TRN number. So another tip that I do have for you guys is that whenever you're sending any important information or documents to Jamaica, make sure that you use FedEx or DHL shipping service. Do not use Royal Mail. With Royal Mail, they have the I believe they have the tracking or the send option, but they don't have it as one joint service. So yeah, if you know a good feel, use DHL to track your documents to Jamaica. But with FedEx, FedEx is the brand that I use throughout my whole buying process. With FedEx, I was able to ship things to Jamaica within 3 working days. It got there on time and it got signed for. I was notified whenever someone signed the signature, and it was a very reliable and safe service. Guys, important documents them here. Remember, a house you buy and a small something you buy is a house you buy. Like, your name is on the line for this, so you don't want to do something as irresponsible as sending it with a company that doesn't have a track and signing service, because you're gonna say reach. So if you're thinking of having your mortgaging process with Jamaica National, definitely ask them about their recommended list of valuators and surveys in Jamaica, and you can just use that as a guide as to who you can use. Before you actually choose a surveyor or a evaluator, be sure to shop around and hear about the prices, because it may vary from person to person. Okay, and I actually have one last tip for you guys, but before I'm gonna drop the tip for now, that tip is the best tip by the way, one of the best tip. Before I'm gonna drop that tip here for now, make sure say subscribe. If you've made it to this far in the video and you are not subscribed, what are you doing? What is you doing? Subscribe, guys, subscribe. I'm almost at 1K, guys. I really want to get to 1K by the end of August. I would really appreciate if you guys could subscribe to the channel, please. Okay, thank you. This last tip I've had to learn the hard way, because it actually happened to me, and that's why I'll be able to share it with you guys. I almost didn't get my property because my mortgaging process was actually rejected once from a financial company, and that's because I wasn't over it. That was because I had used a lot of my credit. Yeah, if you're living in a first world country, if you're living in a developed country, we tend to have a lot more loans and like financial opportunities here. So it may be that we have a much wider, it may be that we have a much larger credit limit compared to someone that's living in Jamaica, and because of such, it means that you may spend more. And when buying a house, this is not particularly a good thing, and this was one of the reasons why I was actually rejected. They claimed that I had used too much of my credit, so that's why they couldn't give me a mortgage. Obviously, I had not known this prior to applying. No one had told me this, and I think for Jamaica National, for you to be able to qualify for a pre-approval letter or for a potential mortgage, your credit score had to be no lower than 630 points out of the 999. Even though I was eligible for this and I had a higher credit score, according to this institution, I had a substantial amount of debt, which meant that I wasn't able to get a loan. Obviously, that differs from bank to bank, and this is why it's so important to shop around when you're also looking for a mortgaging process, because it's not a one-size-fits-all, and you might be lucky with one. You may get a better rate with one bank, or the terms and condition of your mortgaging process may be a lot different from bank to bank. Obviously, I got the mortgage from another bank, but the point what I'm trying to make is that the credit limit that we do have in first world country is a lot more than what we do have back home in Jamaica. So when you're thinking about buying a house, make sure that you're taking this into consideration so that you don't exceed your limit or you're not spending too much money or taking on too many loans. That's all of the tips, guys. I hope you found them useful. If you have any more tips that you think would be useful, so for someone that's living overseas that wants to buy a house in Jamaica, be sure to drop them in the comment section below. I'll be looking at the comments and I'm going to pin the most useful ones. Thank you, guys. Thanks for watching this episode of the First Time Buyer series. Guys, don't forget to like the video, leave a comment, share, and subscribe. Subscribe.